Good to see you, man.
Yes, sir. Good
It's
to be
been
back.
a while. It's been a while. So we had a real good night of fights last night here locally.
Somewhat anticlimactic. I thought overall, though, skill-wise, everything looked good. People are showing out. Different gyms too. It wasn't just the compound, but I think there was an SMA.
Yeah, we had a SMA. We had Louisiana Black Belt Academy. Yeah,
and those guys came out and scrapped. I think all those guys need to come together a little bit, though. Obviously. Sorry.
You good?
I think all those guys need to come together, though, because they're bringing in guys from Houston and these places in Texas, and tough guys coming in and fighting. And I know how it gets. You're competitive within the city, but yeah, I think these guys could stand to come together. They all have something to offer. So
that is a good point. I never thought about it like that. Yeah, you're right, because you have so many people that they're larger area, right? So one gym covers so much. Where here we have multiple, and not that large of an area that they could collectively come together and combine all those skills and probably have some sure enough units come out of there like these other gyms coming over here, And
I don't think it has to, obviously stick around with your people, train with your people.
Yeah.
At the gym you're comfortable at, what's close to your home, whatever. But there should be, practices where those guys cross-train or something. I think it would be good for everybody.
Yeah. Well, speaking of fights, so you're not even a month out of your most recent victory. So congratulations.
Thank you.
I hadn't got to tell you that yet. Yeah. And a phenomenal, crazy performance, dude. So what is it like? Just how that turn of events happened and the whole fight layout. Just run me through it real quick, because I know you've been getting asked about it a lot and stuff. But yeah,
no, but I'm happy to talk about it. It went well. So I don't know. I think if things would have continued like I wanted them to, I think the first round was an indication of what the game plan was. I think a lot of people forget I won the first round, came out and was able to contend with them on the feet, and I scored a takedown. And I think I won the round on everybody's cards, on all the judges' scorecards. So second round, he lined me up a little bit. I think I got a little ahead of myself too. Not that I didn't feel like he couldn't hurt me, but he hadn't yet.
You think just because you were confident in that first round, you just came out in the second?
I just wanted to put pressure on him. And I kind of got a little impatient, if I'm being honest. I somewhat remember the emotions and how I was feeling in there. So I think I got a little impatient, let it get away from me. But, everything came back around. I was able to stay on my feet, stay somewhat, keep my feet underneath me, stay somewhat in the fight. And I think it came close there a couple times. Ref was saying, fight back. And I remember hearing that. And I was just able to do enough. And then a small glimmer of light, small opportunity, hit him with a big cross, his head popped back, and then I changed levels, took him down, passed straight to mount, and that was all it was. But, the kid was tough, right, because I put him in a bad spot. I was elbowing him in the face. I hit him with some hard stuff, had him all cut up. He was still able to roll me and put me on my back, and I had to resort to triangling him off my back. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great fight. We got things to work on, though. That's all I could think about coming out of it, because we could have, probably could have submitted him in the first if I was a little sharper. And then it gets to the second, get hurt, have to rally and come back. But, mostly for me, I think you never want to go out there and fight and get beat on. But for where we were in the card, where we were in the spot, it was live on ABC, big UFC card. I think that it was a perfect opportunity to have it work out that way.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely pushed you right back up into the rankings, and well deserved too. But I think that so many people was like, it was crazy comeback. I'm like, but you won the first round. Yeah. Like it wasn't so much a comeback. It's just just pushing through that, getting caught there, and finishing.
I get it.
Yeah.
Definitely. After going back and watching it so many times, I was in trouble. So it was certainly a comeback. I think that's fair.
Yeah. Well, hey, dude, it was great. I was excited about it, and it threw me off too because I wasn't ready. The time change threw everybody off. I think the early card, and so I was like, okay, I'm going to turn it on and catch the prelims, whatever. And then I turn it on. I'm like, shit, you're walking out.
The main card,
like, yeah. It worked out. It worked out perfect though, man. So what's next for you? What do you got coming up?
December 3rd, I'm back in there, so I signed a bout agreement. I'm not sure. We're not sure yet where it's going to be, but definitely December 3rd. I'm hoping it's stateside. We were talking about, and I think they offered me one July 19th, or not July, sorry, November 19th. And November 19th, I was like, wait a second, is that Madison Square Garden? So
yeah.
I thought it was, but it wasn't. It was in Sweden or something like that. So I'm not going to Sweden.
Let's talk about that. So do you prefer stateside just for convenience and ease of transitioning and everything?
Yeah, I don't want to get on an airplane and fly. And I've done it. I did Korea, I did Singapore, I fought all over the world. I did Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've kind of paid my dues. If they absolutely need me to do it, I guess I will. But if not, then I'd like to keep it stateside.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you have.
It'd be great if it was back in Texas or Louisiana.
Yeah, no, that is man, Louisiana would be awesome, man. It hasn't
something's
happened
going
yet.
on. I don't know. I've never talked to the commissioners. Obviously I know those guys and I could probably chat them up, but it seems like they would let them come back to Louisiana if there wasn't something. I know at one point it was like cheap to come to Louisiana because taxes or something. Then all that stuff went away. But
yeah, it'd be nice. I mean, there's so many great fighters. I mean, especially here locally. You guys, we have 3 people in the UFC right now from the same area, And at one time we had 5, so it's insane. Like
me and Tony went to high school together.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Yeah, and then you have Andrea, you had Derek, which is he's right our neighbor, and then you had Victoria. I mean, and Andrew and Victoria's still in, and man,
Victoria just got her first UFC win.
I know, dude, and man, she caught some hell in those arm breaks, dude. The issue with the arm and but it was good for her to come back and win that last one.
And I wouldn't be surprised if she wins quite a few more. That kind of seems to be how it goes. You get a win, you kind of convince yourself you can do it, and then you get a finish, then you get another win, then you're up there. So I know Victoria's physical. I think we've all got things to work on, but I'm rooting for her.
Yeah, heck yeah. Well, so who's your opponent coming up in this next fight?
Matthias Nicolau.
Okay. So what do we know about this guy?
Brazilian guy. He's tough. He's had some great performances here lately. He's like 5-1 in the UFC. So he's fought some tough competition. Beat Tim Elliott. His last one, he beat a guy named David Dvorak, and Dvorak's pretty dang tough. A guy that I was looking at from the outside, like, man, this kid can go, and Nicolau was able to take him apart, beat him up, batter him. So it's a tough fight. They all are.
Yeah.
I didn't come out calling his name because I think he's low hanging fruit. I called his name because I think he's going to get me moving forward, and we're trying to scale this thing. Yeah,
man. I mean, you have the momentum, and when you have it, you got to take that opportunity and use it to your advantage. I mean, I feel like that every single. I mean, you're in the UFC. You're at the top of the breed, and you're in the top 10. Like when you're fighting these guys, I mean, it's every single person you're fighting is no chump. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Some matchups are better than others. Yeah. And for the Sue fight, we knew he was tough, but we also knew that there were certain advantages that I had. So that, look, from the outside looking in, I remember seeing Sue fight coming up, and I was like, I probably don't know if I want to see this guy. He's pretty tough. But after we broke down film a little bit, we knew that we would have some advantages. So that's nice. Some of these matchups are tough because you really, like Nicolau, what advantages do I have? The kid can box. The kid can wrestle. He's a black belt. So there are advantages, but they're a little more nuanced.
Yeah, I was talking to someone the other day about just seeing how much at the level of competition you've been in there now. For how long you been in UFC now?
I got in 2016.
So okay,
at the end of the year in 2016.
Got you. So we're there in there almost
roughly 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years.
A little over.
Yeah, and so like just seeing how you evolved, like just from the outside looking in, like. I mean, you were always a well-rounded fighter, but dude, you're everything. Everything. Your stand-up is like when I watch you box, I'm just like, holy shit! Like it's there.
Putting it together. Learned how to box right here in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jake DeMint.
Heck yeah.
And DeMint Bros Boxing. They're still over there doing their thing, and I'm pround of those guys.
Home of the stick and move. Over there.
And they're great. They got a great thing going. me and Jake are trying to get together, and I need to call him while I'm here, talk to him a little bit. But we got some stuff cooking up. Me and Jake, the man.
Nice. Yeah, he sent me a photo not too long ago, or showed me one, or maybe it was Grandmaster Baker, of all of us at Golden Gloves.
Okay.
Like forever ago, dude.
So
you were probably like 16, 17, something like that.
No,
You're a little older?
I was probably still 20 or
Okay, you were okay.
Yeah,
we all looked like babies,
yeah,
bro.
we did. Yeah, I looked like I was 13.
Yeah.
But no, I was like 20.
Yeah.
Because I didn't start training until I was 18.
Okay.
A lot of people think that I started when I was 16, like Braden and these guys. I didn't. I started when I was 18 years old. I walked into a gym and started fighting. So, but yeah, learned to box. That's when I learned to box.
Yeah.
I put it together, and I had other instructions since. But
yeah,
I learned how to fight here in Shreveport.
Yeah, I think it's just, I don't know, it's just the competition. Once as the height of the competition grows, I think it just
it brings the best out of you, right?
Yeah.
Because I used to wonder how I would respond to when I was fighting somebody who I didn't necessarily have all the advantages over. Because coming up, like locally, it was always like, all right, when I was going into fights, I don't think you guys were ever worried, like, this guy's probably better grappler than Schnell. It was like, all right, if Schnell gets him on the ground or whatever, we always had big advantages coming up. And I used to wonder, like, what's it going to be like getting ready for a fight where I'm not sure if I have any advantages?
Yeah, I think you can't slouch. You can't slouch anywhere, but
it's made me get a lot better,
yeah.
I would say. I
yeah,
think
for sure. Because, like I said, you always were great at those things, but, like, seeing it put together now, it's just like, dude, this, like, even, like, when we're doing the commentary and you're calling stuff, I mean, the elite level of experience you have makes you able to see everything. Like, you literally, I feel like you see everything.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And that's something I really enjoy, and it's been fun doing the commentary with you guys, and hope to continue to keep doing that stuff and have more opportunities moving forward to doing other types of commentary. But I've learned a lot by us working together, and it's been good.
Do you think that doing that commentary helps you, like, well, let me ask you this. So you're saying watching tape, like, there's so many fighters that still don't do that.
I really don't do that much,
but
honestly. Don't let me sit up here and lie.
Do your coach?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
They break down more film than I do.
Right. And
it drives me crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're seeing everything from the outside, and they're just like, okay, and they're implying that. But do you think it helps, like, watching, commentating and seeing things and...
Yeah, I think it helps with the skill of commentating.
Yeah,
I don't know if it like transitions into fighting, but because it's something all in itself, and it's been nice kind of being able to do the commentary back to back here over the last month.
Yeah,
because that's just being able to rep it. It would be nice. I need to talk to Amber. I need to get a good solid schedule so I can make sure I'm here for them all. But it's been great. It's been great. I've enjoyed it. I hope to continue to keep cultivating that.
Yeah,
stuff.
I feel like you get rusty. It's kind of like ring rust, like we were talking about last night. Like when you're like, because I missed the last two shows and I felt like kind of weird at first last night.
Yeah, not to mention like sometimes if you come in and like you're hungry or something, like I get spacey. I've got to like get a snack. I've got to eat something because even last night because the fights were finishes and they went well. I was happy about that. But
there's no break.
There wasn't really much of a break, and yeah, I got a little spacey there. I'm gonna need to bring like a snack or something.
Put a sandwich on the desk, bro.
Some carbs. Get fueled up a little bit. But.
Well, how's your let's talk about before. So it's been a crazy year for you, and I haven't seen you. Sorry to hear about the passing of your mom too. By the way, man, I hate to hear that.
Yeah.
But even before that. Like, you had some issues with weight, and there was some drama. What happened with all that?
Oh, we're talking about Perez.
Yeah, Perez.
Okay. So that was a fight. For whatever reason, that fight just can't come together.
I know, it was weird, man.
Yeah.
It's multiple times it's happened.
It's a tough fight. I think both of us have a lot of respect for each other.
Yeah.
And when I fought Bontran, I was supposed to fight Perez.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think I filled in on that like 7 weeks out. They asked me to fight Perez, and I was like, okay, it's about a full camp. Let's do it. We'll fight Perez. And then Perez got hurt, and then Bontran filled in, and then I fought Bontran. That one got turned over to a no contest. They remade the Perez fight. I think it was December 11th I was supposed to fight, and that was the night Poirier fought Oliveira for the title. It was a big card, big spot. I was really excited. So I cut weight. My weight cut was tough, if I'm being honest. I just kind of prolonged it a little more because it had been a minute since I went to 25, because when I fought Bontarin, that was at 35.
Okay.
And this was December. I fought Bontarin in May, so it was just... Anyways, I made weight, though. It was just a tough one. And then after I made weight, like I get to the back, and I just needed a second. I sat down in the back, and I should have just walked out. But anyways... Nevada State Athletic Commission, they were there. I weighed in at a time when nothing was going on. Like, I was the only person weighing in. It was like 10 o'clock rather than weighing in the morning.
So a lot of attention on you then, yeah.
So there was a lot of attention on me. People were looking for me. And I was just having, when, like, I don't know if you've cut a lot of weight before.
Yeah, I cut 50 pounds that last one.
God bless.
So, yeah, dude.
You know when you're there and you start taking your fluids back on, sometimes they just don't feel good coming back on, and I was like getting nauseous, and then I drank something cold and they gave me the chills. So these guys, these athletic commission, they're medical professionals like EMTs, and there was a doctor. They were checking in on me, and everything was checking out. This doctor comes over though, and I probably don't look great. I cut weight, but he kind of comes over and checks on me, and checks my heart rate, and he's like, his heart rate's off the charts, and then it's like he can't fight. He called the fight, and obviously I was really upset.
Yeah.
And 10 minutes later I was fine. They did give me an IV. That's the thing. They were trying to give me an IV the whole time, and I knew once they gave me an IV they were going to scratch the fight because IVs are illegal.
Yeah.
In competition or I don't know. I think if a doctor does approve it, though, it might be okay. You might still be able to compete depending on the state you're in, but definitely not in Nevada. So once they gave me that IV, the fight was done.
Yeah, I knew that I knew you had made weight, but there were some issues there right after, and I didn't know, I hadn't really heard or talked to you about it yet.
And then Perez actually missed weight that time, but he only missed by like a quarter pound. It would have been no harm, no foul. But they already called the fight. Yeah. And Perez weighed in after me, and he missed weight. Damn. I made weight, and they scratched the fight because of me.
Well, it's funny to me too. They said the heart rate thing, like, dude, your heart rate's gonna be up.
Of course,
it's gonna be up.
Yeah, of course. I'm dehydrated. Yeah. I don't feel good. Yeah, I made that one tough on myself, though. The last three have been much better, and I'm getting better at it. I'm bigger. I'm bigger now than I've ever been.
I can tell. That was going to be my next question. I feel like you've got it sorted out now. It looks like, you've made these easy.
I've just, and the weight comes off and it comes back on, because there for a while, I wasn't putting weight back on. Like, I would cut to 25 and only get back to like 37, 38, but now I'm putting way more than that.
Is it a diet thing? Is it a rest thing? What is it?
I think probably a little bit of everything. Well, I got a little girl, and I like finish her leftovers every night. I think I'm just packing on an extra few. No, but I am able to cut the weight a little better. It has been coming off. But yeah, I think I'm just older, bigger. Yeah, putting on muscle. I think I'm sleeping better. I sleep better because my little girl sleeps good.
There you go.
But she gets up at 7 a.m., so I got to be in bed by no later than midnight. If I'm not in bed by midnight, I'm going to be useless the next day. So, but I try and get in bed around when I'm in a camp. I'll get in bed around 10.
Have you always been? That's something I've noticed here lately. Is like I'm wearing this whoop strap thing. I don't know if you've seen these things. They're amazing though, dude.
I got an Aura ring.
Okay, then yeah. So like, I've been monitoring that because we're getting into the CrossFit competition space more and more as we evolve here and get a little better at what we're doing. And my wife and I, but like I've noticed that like for the longest time, I thought I didn't need that much sleep because I would wake up and feel fine. Wake up, boom, hit the ground running and go. But looking at the numbers now, it's like, holy shit, dude, I have to have at least 6.5. Like I have to have that. If not, dude, my recovery is down to 50% or lower.
Yeah.
And my HRV, my heart rate availability, and then my my resting heart rate too. It's insane what all changes once you just the slight hour or two of sleep that you're maybe missing. Adding it back in.
No,
but have you always got plenty of rest, or you've been?
I don't think so. I've definitely never been good at that. Especially when I lived in Florida. I was living in this dirty apartment with some degenerates. And I'd stay up all night playing video games, roll out the next day, and get into training right at 10 a.m. with nothing in my no food in me and. No, I was a dummy, but that's that's been one of the positives I think of being a family man.
Yeah.
That's kind of put me on a routine, and I have to stick to it. And I think that it's had positive benefits. And I do believe my hormones and things like that have balanced out over this time because I feel better. I'm stronger. I'm fighting better than I've ever fought. As my endurance is as good as it's ever been, and I'm a little more injury prone now. I can't sit here and say I'm as good as I've ever. I don't feel age because I'm 32 years old, and I've been doing this for 13 years, running into people's freaking fists for a long time. I got 40 sanctioned bouts.
Dude, you're up that high now? Gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy, dude.
So,
yeah, you definitely have some time in there.
Yeah.
Well,
been doing this.
You're saying endurance, so what's that look like now? What's your endurance training look like now? You say it's the best it's ever been. Are you doing something different? You just have it dialed in with everything?
I think I have it dialed in with everything. I have a better understanding of how to breathe. I do have a strength and conditioning coach that I see twice a week. That we don't do anything crazy. It's typically just we're typically just doing circuits, and making the heart rate spike and trying to bring it back down. That's all we do. But it makes me feel better. I'm running miles too. I run my miles.
Is it just are you just doing long running, or are you doing sprints and you're stopping? Some you said your heart rate spiking and going back down. I think that's the big. We talked about it a little bit last time you were on, but I think that's the biggest thing is people just go and do a regimen. They don't really have one. They just go and do some strength and conditioning, but they're not really paying attention
Working
to what
towards anything.
What it applies in the cage.
I think that's what all this stuff is good for. Tracking your heart rate, tracking how long you can push, or because you can improve on that stuff, and you can track that stuff over a camp. And I get to a place in my camp, no matter what, where I feel like I didn't do enough. And if you can look back at numbers and say, well, I've actually progressed. It does put you at ease a little bit. But that being said, with the tracking, I had to stop tracking my sleep. The reason being is every day I would look at it and it wouldn't be exactly what I wanted it to be. I feel like I would let it affect what I was doing. Whereas now that I ignore it, I just try and get to bed. I know that sleep is important, but I don't know if I necessarily need to track that stuff. And that's just me. I think a lot of people are different, but for me it was driving me nuts. And I would find that since I don't track it now, sometimes you wake up and you feel okay, but this thing then tells you you didn't sleep very good, and then you start being maybe I shouldn't train so hard today. And I would let myself out of stuff because my freaking ring maybe was sitting side. I have no idea. Who knows? And didn't read the right way that I wanted it to, or maybe I didn't rest as well as I wanted to. And I can't let that stuff affect me. I still got to get out there and train. So I stopped tracking that, but. We definitely. I run. We do sprint work. We do a lot of drills and sparring, and I do circuit training leading up to it. We'll simulate on Saturdays instead of sparring hard rounds, because I'll spar on Tuesday and I might spar on Friday. So on Saturdays instead of sparring hard rounds, sometimes I'll just do a circuit, and that's just heart rate stuff, making sure. Grappling hard, hitting pads, slamming the back, just literally pushing that threshold a little bit.
Yeah, I think the only way to replicate that is to actually do that and then continually work on it. But when you get in there and you're in a heated, we saw some exchanges last night where people gas out early, especially guys who aren't that experienced yet. You get into a heated grappling match or something against the cage, which is always so grueling, and your heart rate spikes to 170. You know what I mean? And you keep it there for 30 seconds.
Gasses you out. Yeah. Makes you tired.
Unless you're
up and down too, huh? Imagine your heart rate's all the way, and then you freaking stand to your feet, and it's yeah. I think we all could breathe better. Just having the wherewithal to make sure you're keeping that nice steady breath, and that's something that I'm trying to implement and work on. Fundamentals, but trying to keep it basic. But going back to Perez and the weight thing.
So,
So he they canceled the fight because of me. He kind of still missed weight by like a quarter of a pound. No big deal. So then they want to make the fight immediately. Like we're back into conversation about making the fight, and I didn't want to go the next weekend because I would have had to cut weight again. It was a tough cut. I would have gotten there though. I would have gotten there. I would have been fine. It would have sucked. But Perez said he couldn't make weight the next weekend again. So like understandable. But then he couldn't make weight 6 weeks later either, and then it turned into 10 weeks later. Happened to be in Houston, which worked out. So it was like, all right, cool. We'll fight in Houston. And then it'll be 10 weeks later, gives him plenty of time to make weight. And then fight week happens, shows up, I make weight. They call me, though, the night I'm cutting, and they tell me he's not going to make weight, tell me he's stuck at 130. I don't know if I should say that, but, their management reached out to my coach and told him, like, hey, he's probably not going to make weight. Now, he did come in at 128, so I took that as a sign of goodwill. The thing that irritated me the most is that he weighed in before I did.
Yeah.
Because I cut the night before to like 127, expected to float, but I was all stressed out. I didn't float any weight. I woke up and still had to cut like 0.4, and it just trickled off, came off slow. I kind of wasted time, thought that I could just fart around and maybe it would float off, and nothing floated off, so I ended up having to sweat it off. But he weighed in at like 9:15 and missed at 128 and started drinking back on.
Didn't even try. Well, I say that, man. Look. Yeah. But I understand the frustrations. What I'm getting at.
And I understand where he's at too, because the thing is, like, I don't know if I had been rotting and I thought I was at the end and thought I might be dying or whatever. You never know what these guys are thinking. I might not get back in there either, but I'm going to weigh in at 11 at the last minute.
Yeah.
As a sign of goodwill.
Right.
Maybe another 0.2 floated off before then. It looks a little better.
What's that? Is that fight going to happen? Do you want that fight anymore? Are we past that now since we're moving momentum's up?
He just got submitted by Pantoja. I mean, Pantoja came out and submitted him in the first round, and that had been the first time he fought since he fought for the title, because he fought Davison Figueiredo like two and a half years ago, and then this was his first time back. Pantoja came out and took it from him. So for me, I'm kind of aiming upward.
Yeah,
I guess we could come back to that matchup at some point. He's going to be around for a long time. I'm sure I'll fight Alex Perez before it's all said and done. Yeah.
Well, we were talking about we'll go back to this recovery thing, because when you said it bothers you, I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah.
But I've noticed like if I go hard, and I'm talking about like I'm having like an 18-point strain that day, and I've worked out like maybe in the morning and that evening, and then I fuck up and may just have one drink that night, dude. You can see it. Like, you can see it. Yes, you can see it. It's insane. So that just tells me, like, stop doing that. You know what I mean? People are like, I'll just have that one drink in the evening, dude. When you put your body through so much and then you add that in there just to slightly dehydrate you more, it shows up the next day.
Yeah, and I don't think that people really recognize how much. And so, like, I'm a cannabis guy.
Right.
I use cannabis, and I think the old thought is, well, it helps me sleep, but in actuality, it doesn't help you sleep. It really doesn't. It's not good for your sleep. Alcohol isn't good for your sleep. Neither is cannabis. Neither is anything really that's a depressant like that. It's going to mess up your system in some capacity. And sleep is so important. Going back to it, like, I think we all used to think like, whatever, you sleep when you're dead.
Yeah.
How much sleep do I need?
Yeah, for a long
5
time.
hours, I feel okay. But no, you need 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night. That there's no doubt about it. You'll feel a lot better. Do it for a week and tell me how you feel. Sleep 8 hours.
Yeah, especially if you're training hard.
Yeah.
Like, if you're putting like. My days right now are like Monday.
Even if you're stressed.
Right, yeah.
I mean,
well, that's stressful.
It gets tough because we have kids, and I get that. But, man, put your kids on a schedule. That's the thing. Like, a bunch of my buddies, and I know all kids are different, but they all struggle with their kids sleeping. But there's no, like, Penny's bedtime's been 7:30 since she was knew anything about anything. So that's just how it is. She goes down at 7:30. She wakes up at 7 o'clock.
Well, I think that's good too, starting them early and getting them structured to where they have that. Like,
we'll see though. We'll see how things work, because I'm about to have another, and he might come out and be like, "Listen, dude, you don't know anything about anything. I sleep when I want."
What's the date on the new boy coming soon, man?
He's due in January.
Okay, do y'all have a name yet?
January.
Are y'all not announcing that, or
no, we're gonna name him Matt Schnell Jr.
Awesome. Yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
Can name him Junior.
Little Danger.
Little MC Schnell. Matthew Christopher Jr.
Awesome. What made you come up with that?
Well, we've gone back and forth on a bunch of different names, and honestly, that wasn't something that was even on my radar. I didn't really consider it, but my wife kind of put it out there, and once she said it, I was like, I like that, and that's been it. So, subject to change, I suppose, if something better comes to mind, but as of now, I think we're gonna name him Junior.
I like it. So what are you looking forward to on you've had a girl this whole time. You've been stay-at-home dad pretty much, training, fighting, and just being a dad. Yep. What are you looking forward to adding this little dude in the mix?
I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be good for Penelope's development more than anything. Not that only child syndrome is the worst thing. But for me, I'm so thankful that I had my brother and my sister because they taught me how to face the world and taught me how to contend because I had to contend with them every single day. And my brother is a very smart fella. My sister is also very smart, vicious and vindictive. So I had to learn how to contend and take care of myself. And because of that, I can contend with the world and I can face this thing. So that's what I hope it brings for Penelope. Teaches her a little bit of how to share. Got to share mommy, got to share time. We got this, we got that. So it'll be good for her. That's what I'm most looking forward to. But I don't know as far as the dynamic of having a boy as opposed to a girl. All I know is a girl, and it's been so great. And I wouldn't have even been mad if this was another girl. That would have been just fine too. I think it would have been familiar, and I'd be pumped. But we'll see how it goes. For me, I just have to make sure that I'm not too hard on him. That's kind of what I fear. Fatherhood is tough, especially, your own son. So
you have to look at all the adversity you face and try not to, lay it out for them, not give them the same thing, but also not be too lenient. You know what I mean?
I don't want to baby him,
right?
But I don't want to be too rough on him,
right?
And I feel like it's always going to be me trying not to be too rough on him.
Yeah.
But that being said, there needs to be a little bit of it. There will be expectation. There will be accountability within my household. That goes for my daughter and my son. So I'll hold them accountable. But I'll try to do it in an encouraging way that helps, cultivate them, their best selves, their best personalities, and we'll see how it goes. I think I'm up for the task. My wife's a wonderful woman. I picked a good one, so really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think it is important to have a sibling, though. I think that, nothing against the only child, but
you had siblings?
Yeah, oh, dude, I'm the oldest. I have 8 younger siblings.
Oh, shucks.
You're
from a big family.
Yeah, so my mom has 7. I'm the oldest of 7, and then my dad has 3, including me. So they split. I'm the only one of them, and then he has 3, and I have 2 younger on that side. Okay. But 8 total. They're all half. Yeah. But yeah, man. So I think it is important to at least have one. Just because when these kids go off and go to school, whatever, they are interacting with other children and stuff, but they're not. They still will come home and kind of get catered to, and I think it is good to have a little competition in the household as well. You know what I mean? I think it's great for them. Yeah. We have a boy and a girl, and it's great because the girl is, oh my God, dude, we have a girl. You know how it is, like the littlest thing. Sometimes it's just so dramatic, and then the boy's just like whatever, he don't care. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But they're completely different to manage. Fight? Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, but yours are going to be 2 years apart, right? Yeah. And me and my closest brother were 2 years apart. But I think that it's just a competitive thing or a jealous thing. Oh, this one got this. Why didn't I get this? Kind of thing.
They should. They should. I think that's the best part. I think
it's good for them, man.
Yeah, it's good for them. They should be at each other's throat a little bit. I should be like, I'll turn this motherfucking thing around. Don't make me come back there. That's right. That's what growing up is.
Oh yeah, dude. You got to give them a little threat, even though you're really not going to do anything. Put a little fear in them. You know what I mean?
I threaten Penelope all. You want to pop on your butt? She ain't never got her butt popped. She don't even know what that is.
Oh man. Well, let's talk about these fights last night, dude. So we had a good night. We got to hang out with Matt Hughes.
Yeah.
UFC Hall of Famer, man. It was cool to be in the room with him again, and then.
That was my first time meeting Matt.
Oh, it was?
So, yeah,
dude. Cool. He's cool. He's a real nice guy, from what he went through, and then, to bounce back and still be able to maneuver and be in the space and be part of everything and support the sport still. I think it's awesome.
Seems like he's enjoying it too.
Yeah. We had Steve, the Average Jones, man, I feel so bad, that he was there. I felt like he won the first round. He was doing great. And then, it was a title defense for his welterweight title, and AKA a pro welterweight title. And then his opponent checked the kick just right, man. And I believe it looked like he broke his tibia. I'm not sure, but had a rough break, looks like.
I didn't see the clean break, but I saw the way his leg was sitting. I think he definitely broke that thing. And the noise it made. Oh. That's the risk you run with that low calf kick, and it has been. I think it dominated the. When was it? It started rearing its ugly
Probably
head.
started about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe.
About 2020, and people started really taking fights, and I mean, we were talking about it. Steve had success with that calf kick early on. Yeah. He almost got. I mean, in the first round, dude was switching stances, really in a bad spot, but. Yeah, good on the Alabama Hammer.
Yeah,
for making the adjustment. I recognized it too. I thought that he had, and he had to because he was getting his leg chewed up, and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but that's the risk we run with throwing that low calf kick and. Shucks.
Well, it's a risky run getting in there at all. Potential for injury is always there as soon as you close that cage.
But that's those are some of the worst ones.
Yeah, Well, I mean, we saw Anderson Silva. Look, I don't really feel like he ever bounced back from that, dude. I mean, that was detrimental, though. And then Conor had that issue too with Poirier. I mean, that was a different injury, but still, man, it's just hard. You see someone who's been off a little while.
I mean, I can remember how I felt last night. It was
yeah.
No, I can't believe I just saw that happen. Holy heck. Poor Steve Jones. God bless.
Yeah.
He's a good dude too.
He's a great opponent, man. He fights really well. He's well rounded.
Was looking good out there.
Yeah. Yeah, and he hasn't fought in a while for AKA either. I don't know what his I believe he lost his last fight, but he did have plenty of wins before that.
He was on a little 2-fight skid. I think it was a decision and something else. That happens when you fight. Sometimes you pick up L's, but you just got to keep it going. And he was looking good. It had been 7 months since he had been in there, but unfortunate. Really unfortunate.
Well, let's talk about this. So you're in this trading card world, and I don't know anything about it. We were talking before. I did the Pokemon card thing when I was a kid.
Well, then you know about it more than you think you do.
Yeah, but tell me about this because this world's so foreign to me. Yeah. But I'm always interested to learn about this stuff, and I know it's so. It's very, very big. I know you guys are trading stuff. You're opening cases online. You're looking at giving your insight on all these. Just tell me about it because like I said, I don't know much.
Yeah. So we all probably collected sports cards as kids, just like baseball cards and collecting guys that we like. And I think there's always been a market for that card collector. We know of the Michael Jordan rookie cards, and there's the Honus Wagner card, and Babe Ruth, and really nice old school cards out there. Well, now those cards are worth millions of dollars. And there's a market out here that's really strong, and it's kind of gone like this over the last few years. But it started in the pandemic, and this market really took off again. And for me, I'm into football cards and UFC cards because now the UFC has their own deal with Panini, which has the NFL and the NBA trading cards. So they're making cards in these sets that I'm familiar with that I already collect, and now my cards are in it. So it's been really neat. It's been really cool. But this is something I got involved in. I collected when I was a kid. And then in 2017, I started kind of playing around with it again because I'd find cards at Target and stuff like that. And I liked the Saints rookie class that year. That's when they drafted Kamara and Ramchak and Marshawn Lattimore. They had a really great draft class that year. So I went after that. And when I pulled it out a couple years later, I had some Mahomes rookie cards, and they were really, really valuable. And I was like, oh, heck. I mean, they were $300-$400 pieces of cardboard.
Yeah, it's just insane to
what
think
in
of
the
the
world?
value of
Yeah.
that, but now we're in the age of digital currency too, and I feel like it seems like I'm a very, very novice stock trader, you know what I mean? But like, I feel like it's similar to that. Like you're taking a gamble, you know, like possibly this card.
That's a good way to put it, because that you literally you're buying into these players' stocks, you know. And if so, Patrick Mahomes, his first year he didn't play his rookie season, but his sophomore season he won the MVP. And if you would have gotten into the Patrick Mahomes market in 2017, you'd have $1 million cards right now.
Dude. That's insane.
And people didn't know that. I didn't know that either. I wish I did, because if I did, I'd go back and I'd have millions of dollars in Patrick Mahomes cards. But people invest in guys every year. What got me back into it this time in 2020 was Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Because Joe Burrow, 2019 national champion, first overall pick. I was like, I'm going to go get me some dang Joe Burrow rookie cards. So I invested in Joe Burrow quite a bit, a lot into his stock. And I'm hoping that it pays off over the long run. So it's fun. It's a way to kind of gamble. It's just another way to, it's similar to cryptocurrency and things like that, or the stock market. And what's great about these things is they never go to zero. Like, even if Joe Burrow tore his ACL tomorrow and was done for his career, knock on wood, somebody would still purchase that card. It just wouldn't go for the premium that it's going for now.
Well, so being a lot of these guys, like, you have to be a sports fan. I mean, you have to be somewhat educated on what you're buying into, right? You can't
which I am. I'm a sports fan.
Right.
I'm a UFC fan too.
Right.
So that's the reason, like, I kind of gravitate towards those card markets, because I know them. I think it helps me with fantasy football because like, I know depth charts, and I
still don't understand the fantasy football thing.
Yeah.
I just hadn't gotten into that. That's a whole other thing. There's like a whole other algorithm there.
Sure is.
But it's like, I understand the premise of it. You're putting together, you know, a team of these picks and hoping that combined stats it'll place you in a.
And it's pretty simple for like football. Only quarterbacks really sell. That's who you're after. You're after the quarterbacks. There's a couple of like running backs here and there, wide receivers like Jamar Chase sells pretty well, but the market's pretty easy to understand. It's not rocket science. Basketball is way more involved because there's way more going on, and it's a much more global sport. Guys are coming from all over the place, but the basketball card market's really healthy too. UFC's coming along. It's brand new, but it's coming along. Like, some of my cards, you'd be surprised. I
need to. Yeah, we were talking about that. I need to invest. I want to invest in some, just because I'm well versed in that. I think I'm not well versed in. I'm not a huge football fan, and I know forever it's always been baseball, but it seems to be so much more broad, and you have other. You know, if you're not a baseball fan, you can get into, like you said, football or basketball. Basketball seems to be rising as well, and then UFC's exciting.
Pokemon's a good play too, and the reason is people say, like, Charizard doesn't tear his ACL. He's always up. Charizard's always up.
Good point, dude. Yeah. No, and what's so frustrating is I had all those cards 15 years ago. Yep. You know, or no, probably 20 years ago, I guess. And I had those, and they were in immaculate condition, and I would literally be a millionaire right now. Yeah. It's just frustrating to think about. I don't even know where they're at. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's how it goes. It goes. Somebody's going to find them in a dingy attic one day and be a millionaire themselves. Yeah.
Well, it's always, I guess that's what's interesting to me, too, is the Pokemon thing's not based on someone, you know, performing. You know, it's not based on an idol or something, you know, someone who's, you know, has all these accolades. It's just a fictional element on a piece of cardboard, you know, with some foil on it. Like, it's crazy.
I think when you're trying to understand NFTs and things like that, it's just you know, owning something that is somewhat rare, or nostalgic in some capacity. Because the reason those Pokemon cards came back so big is because as we aged, we like yearned to have them again. Yeah, and they're more rare the further away from their print date that you get, because they get destroyed, they get lost, they get this, they get that. But they're out there. There's some in really great condition, and people are willing to pay a premium for them. So,
yeah, I mean, nostalgia drives the market price of everything up. Like, so if you're getting into a card now, like, so if you're into football or whatever, so is it like there's only a limited amount made, and so you try to get them based on how this player's going to perform?
You want to focus on the rare stuff. Like today, even in 2017, Mahomes' rookie year, there were way less sets, there were way less cards. So like a base rookie card from 2017 is valuable, but a base rookie card from today, like of the best guy, even like Mac Jones last year, base optic, it's like a $20 card.
Yeah.
So it's nothing too crazy. You get it graded, it grades a 10, it might be like $200, something like that. So there are margins and ways, but for me, like my collection consists, I'm really focused on the rare stuff. I'm trying to get the low number parallels and things like that, because I think that's the stuff that holds value over time. And if I had advice on anybody who was wanting to get into it, I would say just focus on the legends, focus on the guys who have already established themselves. Tom Brady, his market's going to be strong still in another 10 years. Of course, Jordan and those guys, LeBron James, like those are the guys to go after. And though it's cliche, if you want to like get something, like say you're trying to diversify your assets,
portfolio,
yeah, and you wanted okay, I've got a bar of gold, I've got cash, I've got
right.
this, I want something else that's going to hold value or may go up. Like if you so even Michael Jordan PSA 10s, they were going for like $800,000 a couple years ago.
That's insane.
Now they're down to about 110. So
right.
it's in a dip. Say you were like, okay, I think these things will go back up. Buy two of them at $110,000. That's crazy. But there's people out there with that money who are willing to do it. They go back and look at it 4 years from now. They're worth $400,000. It's like, holy crap!
You can't. Yeah,
that's how you do it.
You can't really estimate or foresee what it's going to do. It's just like someone telling, like Warren Buffett used to say, the stock market. I can't foresee what it
Right.
Can't foresee or tell you what it's going to be, but it's always going to go up.
There is less risk in investing in like a Michael Jordan than like a LaMelo Ball.
Yeah.
Right. LaMelo Ball hasn't won 6 NBA championships yet. He's not the GOAT. You don't want to put $110,000 necessarily, though that might pay off too, because there was a story last year from a guy that bought a Joe Burrow 1 of 1 for like 40 G's, and then at the end of the year he sold it for 240 G's after right before Burrow played in the Super Bowl. So
well, there's some brands.
Crazy.
What brands do you want to buy? Because this is all education for me too.
Yeah.
People, listen, if you're bored, I'm sorry, but I don't care. Like, this is you're passionate about this, and I'm saying people that are listening, if they're bored, screw them. I don't care.
Yeah.
But I know there's certain brands that aren't valuable,
aren't as valuable,
right? Aren't as valuable. Like, so what's the
so here recently? Panini is the one that you're looking for. And their best sets are like Prism. Prism is typically king in, but if you go back, like if say you're like you've got to know what era you're looking in, because if you're looking for like Drew Brees rookie cards, Panini didn't have the licensing in 2000. It was still like Topps,
right,
and Bowman.
That was
Chrome,
my next question. Topps was a big player for a while, but they're not so much
so
now.
Topps has baseball, Panini has basketball and NBA.
Okay,
but they all got, but Fanatics just got all the licenses. So it's all in there's a whole bunch of stuff, and it's a bunch of nerdy card stuff that
well, then there's
a whole bunch of stuff going on.
There's stuff too where you can make your own cards now and stuff like that. I've seen that out there, like.
Yeah, people do it.
Yeah.
People do it. People like custom cards and things like that. But yeah, you want to be in the set. Like,
so how many cards do you have out there right now?
I don't know the exact number. My true rookie card though is the 2020 Prism.
Okay.
It's like a horizontal card. It's me fighting Tyson Nam.
Okay.
That's my
Which
true
is a
rookie
phenomenal
card.
fight too. That was a great fight.
So that's what's considered my true rookie. But there's a bunch of rookie sets too that I've collected quite a bit of.
So what's Matt Schnell going for right now?
So right after my fight, I went after a card at a 10 on eBay.
Yeah.
And I max bid at like $130 for, and it's a gold parallel out of 10. So there's only 10 of them.
Right.
So they're pretty rare. But I was thinking, because with 5 seconds left, it was at like $90, and I was like, okay, $130, that should get it done. I think it went for like 240.
Damn.
So or something like that, 240, $250, somewhere in there. So I mean The market's pretty good. I think
your stock is rising for sure.
It's on the rise.
Yeah,
and as it should be.
Well, what does one of these sets come from? Like where you get a set, like you can't just buy a single card unless it's something that's already been opened, right? So you have to buy a set, hoping that it'll be in there.
That's honestly the way that you would want to do it. You want to buy singles off. Buy singles, eBay.
Okay,
yeah, because that's the cheapest.
But
way.
if you go buy a pack, you're just hoping you get something.
You're just hoping you get something. Yeah, and you could pull a Matt Schnell card. You could pull a dang gold. Who is it? Right, my year was Khamzat Chimaev.
Yeah,
like if you pull the low number Khamzat, it'd be worth a couple $1,000s if you got it graded.
That's insane. What does Conor McGregor go for? Does he really have a market there?
Yeah, he's got a market. He'll always have a market.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. If you're getting in the UFC market, you're not gonna go wrong investing in Conor McGregor.
Yes,
he's gonna go up. He's gonna keep going up.
That's just crazy. I mean, it's just awesome to see something like that. It's tied to someone's performance and their marketability and what they've done for the sport.
Yeah, to a degree, because like Conor could
never fight again. It's probably still worth.
Could do something really stupid tomorrow, and his market would probably dip. But 20 years from now, when the Conor McGregor documentary comes out, and kids are reintroduced to him, everybody's going to be looking for those Conor McGregor cards from 2020 when they debuted and whatever.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. That's why guys like that are a safe bet. Whereas, there are guys like Khamzat's not a guarantee right now, though he looks pretty good.
And we have him. He's fighting Nate Diaz next, right?
Yep.
Dude, that's going to be interesting.
Wild.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Which Nate is insane, man. He'll call for anything.
Yeah. I think Nate was the one who wanted it.
Yeah. Well, he said he'd fight. Who did he say he'd fight? Francis Ngannou.
Francis Ngannou's had knee surgery, so I guess it's got to be Khamzat.
Yeah, I'm like, and the dude probably would fight him too.
Pay me enough, I'll fight him.
Yeah, no shit. It's crazy, dude. I mean, it's just it's an ever evolving sport, and I'm excited about it. I feel like any other sport, although all sports I feel like have their place and are well respected, this is one that's continuing to evolve and hasn't hit its peak yet. In evolution.
Well, fighting's so wonderful, right? Because everybody can relate to a fight. Fighting's life's great metaphor. And not only is it takes us somewhere primal, but it's simultaneously very noble as well. And that's what's so profound about it. Not to mention, what better way for a young man is there to truly express yourself? Express yourself, your skills,
or young lady,
yeah. Your ability. Well, there's a lot of outlets for these young ladies to express themselves. Not as many for these young men too.
I understand. I agree.
Let's be real. And fighting is, for me. Like, what else would I do? How else could I show the world who I am? I can't sing. I don't know how to write a song. Unfortunately, I wish I did. Maybe one day, but. There are people in this world like my best bud Luke. Luke could see a silhouette of me fighting, like not know it, like kind of who's that Pokemon of me fighting, and Luke could look at it and say that's Matt Schnell unmistakably. And there's other people in this world who could do that. There's that much of a signature on the way that I do things, the way that I move, the way that I perform and express myself that you could tell without seeing my face.
It's a very good point.
And I mean that's the art in it.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, yes, it's most definitely is an art form, and it's one of the probably the oldest art forms if you think about it.
Right. And going back to this last performance and how everything played out, I'm smitten by the way it went. It could have gone the opposite way, and I'd be sitting here, not feeling so good. And I understand that, and I honor that, and I respect it, and I think that's the part of it that's noble. But man, ain't it something to go out there, perform like that, throw your hands in the air and tell the world, I freaking told you so.
Yeah.
And that's what it felt like to me. I feel like we've turned a corner here. I'm really excited about the future. I'm getting better still. I'm 32 years old. I can't say that I used to be the young gun.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that, bro. You were the youngest kid in the room for a while.
I was the guy on the mat that everybody looked to that was like, wait for this kid to come up. But I'm not that guy anymore. I look around, I'm the oldest guy on the mat now, very often, most of the times. So
how does that feel? How does that feel in the gym?
It don't feel like anything because most of the people that I train with, they respect me and they look to me. And,
that's what I was getting at. Like, how does it feel
I thrive in that position.
To be able to you're at the peak of your career, and you're training with these guys who may be up and comers too, and they're fresh. You know what I mean?
There's really nothing more fulfilling in this whole wide world, and I think it's one of the things. People cast shade and throw around nasty things about how our civilization operates, whether it's capitalism or patriarchy or any of this fucking nonsense. Yeah. But what is true is there's real mentorship that occurs in my line of work. And there's a whole bracket of guys that would consider themselves my guys that just have come in contact with me briefly, and they see me maybe once, twice a week. But I have an impact on these guys, and they have an impact on me. And there's nothing. When I was over at West Chase with my, Upiano gave me a job. I was living right around the corner, so it was really easy for me to get over there. Now I live in Humble, and the gym's so far away.
Yeah.
But there'll come another time when I get my own little squad together and start running practices again, and we'll start bringing guys through. But there's nothing more fulfilling in this world to me than watching my boys go out there and get it done the way that we practiced and the way that we dreamed about and put into play and drilled day in and day out and talked about these spots. And then to go out there and see them do it, I'm telling you, there's nothing in this world that makes me feel more alive and more complete than when that happens.
It's something people don't understand until they do it. Like coaching and mentoring is something that's so. Sometimes it's looked down upon. Like someone says, "Well, if you don't teach, you can't teach, or whatever." That's completely, I think, false. And I think that some people are just great at coaching, and maybe they weren't as amazing a performer. But you're an amazing performer, and you're a good coach. There's something
there
to be
better
said.
coaches too.
There's always some.
I think that a lot of times guys that didn't necessarily have much success do coach extremely well because they're more. I don't know exactly. I would have to think more on that on why exactly that is. But I've come into contact with great instructors that didn't have the success that I did. Doesn't mean I don't listen to them.
Right.
I mean, most of the people that I surround myself
That's a good point.
with didn't reach the top 10 in their weight class, but that doesn't mean that what they have to say isn't valuable. It's quite the opposite. And through people's experiences, that's what's so good. And just because I've reached the top 10 and because I might fight for that gold belt buckle one day,
it's happening. I know it's gonna happen.
Doesn't necessarily mean that I'm the greatest and that you should listen to everything that I have to say. You should always, take everything with a grain of salt. For me, what's been so great about my career is I've always been the freaking captain of this thing, and I have had help along the way, and I'm grateful for Christian Fulghams and people who let me sleep on their couches and not pay rent, and Aaron Phillips even. I slept, I lived at he let me move in with him for a little bit there in Lafayette. Those guys, they've been instrumental in my skill cultivation, but. At the end of the day, too, I'm the one who walks out there and fights these motherfucking fights.
Yeah.
And I gotta take a little bit of the credit, and I'm the one who's ultimately made the decisions on where I go to train, what I work on. And when you watch me fight and watch, it really is. It means something to me when you say, "Man, you've come a long way. Your skills, there's no place within fighting that a fight can take place in which I'm not competent."
Yeah.
And I've spent time doing that, filling the gaps, filling in the holes, and
yeah, you've definitely earned your keep. I mean that just goes back to what I was saying earlier, but seeing that and just seeing the development and knowing that I'm minuscule and any of my judgment or anything.
What's interesting though, DJ, don't minimize the fact that you saw me then versus you see me now.
Right.
And you can see the difference. And even if you had no fight training, which you do, you've trained quite a bit.
Yeah.
You could see the difference.
Yeah, it's very apparent, and anyone can. So that's something that's extremely important.
And that's through work. And I think I'm not talking to anyone specific here, but you have to not that I'm the most humble guy in the world or anything, but you have to have a touch of humility about you to put yourself into a spot to admit I don't know about this. I went to Thailand and kickboxed in Thailand. And, anytime you stand in front of a new coach teaching you a new style, they'll talk to you as if you don't know anything about anything. And they're right in some capacity. And to face that, you have to die a little bit. You have to admit that I don't know. But that's the first step in getting better. I think a lot of times around here, people get stuck in their ways. And it's unfortunate to me because I can see how these fights play out. And I can see from an outside perspective, and maybe I give a little advice, and people push back on me. And I'm just like, dude, I don't care how old they are. I don't care. We're out here fighting real people.
Yeah.
You got to have a little humility about yourself and admit, okay, I didn't prepare my guy properly for this. I can't yell at him because he's not doing the thing that he should know how to do because we never do it, and I'm the one who teaches him how to do this thing.
Yeah.
And if you can't teach him everything, that's fine. It's okay to not know everything. You're good at what you're good at. Your guys should have that in their game, but to round it out, you may need to branch out a little bit. Try something new. Maybe have a good relationship with somebody you haven't had a good relationship with before.
It takes a lot for someone to swallow their pride. Isn't that interesting? Isn't it interesting that in this world, in this fight world, there is so much drama, and people take everything to the grave with them. We've seen it a million times with different rival gyms and different coaches and different training partners. And it's this sport. Yeah. Well, I don't think it's just around here. I think it's everywhere.
It is everywhere.
Which you would know because you've been everywhere in this sport. But just on the outside looking in, I see it. I'm just like, why is that? And I think it comes down to the camaraderie is so thick in this sport. We're so intertwined. It's not family. You don't get to pick.
Right. It does create a tribal aspect.
Yeah, almost you do not do anything to dishonor this this tribe.
And what's weird is that happens even at the highest level gyms. You're absolutely right. Yeah. You're absolutely right because even at American Top Team, I like American Top Team, but it's a huge facility with 15 mini gyms within it.
Yeah.
And they all kind of click up and they all kind of beef and there's always kind of this tension here and there. It wasn't like that for me. I kind of coasted, and that's how I've always done. I've been able to navigate those things well, even here in Shreveport. When Brent and Donnie and Jake
you're able to still go everywhere.
Yeah,
which is just means that you're not feeding you that. You're looking at the bigger picture.
Right, and I think a lot of people probably even back then did take offense to it, and people probably still take offense to the way that I do things even to this day. But to me, it's the best way to round out my skill set. It's the best way to get the bigger picture. And there does have to be at a point, we do have to cinch it down a little bit. That's why I've hunkered down between Dallas and between Houston. That's why I keep it when I fight. And I kind of subordinate to Safe and Eve and Alex Chang because those guys have to be able to point me in the right direction. But, those are the guys that I picked for myself because I think that they can get me to where I'm trying to go.
Well, I think that you see the sport evolving, and more people are, I think, taking your advice at your level. It seems that way because you see people who they used to talk when we do the commentary and stuff. You used to would want to announce the coach because the coach was like, okay, if this guy's with this gym or with this, we talked about that a little bit, but if with this coach that he's just going to be phenomenal. But it's not so much that way anymore. There's people coming from everywhere, and they're educating themselves and becoming well-rounded and working with multiple coaches and multiple gyms, and just like you've always done.
Yeah. And
I think you probably were a pioneer for that mindset, I think.
And that being said, I do think that there's something to being a part of something and being a part of a team.
Of course. No, I mean, we were a part of a team together, but I feel like you're always going to have your core team, but you're open to.
You shouldn't be afraid of trying something new.
Right.
You also shouldn't be afraid of straight up saying, "Look, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Let's go to the place that does." You have to have that humility. And some of the best instructors I've run into, some of the best coaches I've run into, are not the guys with the big names, not the guys who get all the press, but they're the ones who are the most open-minded, who are willing to say, okay, I don't understand this very well, but you know who does? These guys are doing this well. Let's go check out what they're doing.
Yep.
We go over there, we train with them, become a part of it somewhat, become, the camaraderie happens, and then we pick up a part of that system. And then I'm able to see, okay, this is how they're doing it, this is how I do it, maybe let's do it like this, and maybe it's the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not. But
it's
trial and error,
it's something I talk about in in the world of business. So many people will say, well, don't, you're doing something with so-and-so, so I'm not going to do it. Man, there's enough to go around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you got to keep that mindset of there's plenty to go around. And
that's always, and we've had the last time I was on this podcast, I'm pretty sure we had this conversation.
Dude, I got to beat it in the ground though. I love talking about it.
It's like, dude, if you want martial arts to succeed around here,
support it.
You have to support it. And to support it, it has to rest upon pillars, not just one gym, but there needs to be multiples, because you need somebody across the town that's getting good that you have to keep up with. I mean, that's how you build. That's how you sharpen the blade. There's got to be an arms race within this city, and not in a like F you, I'm gonna poop on your porch type of way. Like make it a healthy competition so that everybody is improving along the way. Like, man, these guys are wrestling well over there. Okay, we're gonna have to start anti-wrestling. We're going to have to start, pushing, like going through these positions a little more, because this is what they're doing well. That's how you build something.
Yeah.
That's how you make an area strong. You don't do it by, don't go train with them. Only train with us. They're not as good. He didn't fight as many fights as I fought, so I know more. It's like, bro, who cares? Train. Get ready for fights. I tell these guys, like, I used to worry about that nonsense too when I was coming up around here in Shreveport. Yeah. I'd look across, who are the new teams popping up? They got somebody for me to fight?
Let's go. Yeah.
Nobody ever did, Yeah. You know why? Because I was a bad little guy around here.
Yeah.
And there was going to come a day where I was going to be fighting the best guy from an entire country. Not the other guy from across the way in Bossier that trains close to Parkway High School. I don't give a frick. I'm about to fight the guy from the only representative of an entire country of Tibet. I'm about to go and fight their best guy, their number one guy. That's who I'm fighting. I don't give a frick about that guy. In fact, if that guy across the way can make me better so that I can get ready for the kid from Tibet, or to go fight the kid from Japan, or to go and fight the kid from Brazil, that's what I need.
That's a really good way to put it. I love it. That's a warrior mentality right there. Like, I'm about to go. I'm representing me fighting this entire representative of this civilization, of this weight class.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You're not at war with your neighbor.
No,
your neighbor can help you get ready for the guy across the freaking country,
and even still
across the continent,
and then
in the next continent.
And then once you compete against that person, you both took something from that, and you move on. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's never like I do enjoy the there's a newfound sportsmanship, and we see a lot, and we're seeing a lot in these amateur guys. Like, that used to not be there. Yeah. I remember when we would stack in, bro, and it was animosity, and
bandanas.
Dude, and everybody, bro.
That was pre-Danger Karate Mafia. The bandanas, yeah.
But I
didn't come rocking out with a bandana. That was never my vibe.
But I just remember the animosity and how thick the room was in the days of how that sport. It's just how the sport was formed, man. It was just such a man, I don't even know how to put this. It's gladiator days. Like, it just, as the sport has evolved and it's become more respectable to all audiences. You know what I mean? It really has a more honorable, and I think you guys are on an amazing platform now. What you're doing is extremely well respected. Around just full-fledged. But dude, we could keep ranting. I mean, let's wrap this thing up here in a minute, but do you have anything, any plugs, anything you want to mention, man? Anything you got coming up besides fight stuff?
Yeah, I'm mostly focusing on fight stuff. I'll be hitting some card shows here over the next couple of months. Probably hitting some UFC events too, but I'll be here for the AKA events. Hopefully they keep on bringing me back in. Just happy, thankful to be a representative of this area. I look forward to giving back as well. There are some things that I would like to put in place, some ideas and thoughts of ways to help make this community better. I know this community's been hurting, kind of thrashed by gang violence here recently, and that's something that I think that it takes strong, forthright, masculine people to help fight against stuff like that. So I think that I can help. So there are thoughts, there are ideas. I want to start giving back to this community. Love being from here. Thankful, really happy. I only root for these guys. I know sometimes we can sit here and we can talk about it, and I can kind of seem, but I just want to see this area do better. My niece trains over at the compound. She's getting better every day. She came out and trained with me in Houston a couple weeks ago, and I was just so impressed by how far she's come, because the last time I saw her, I was like, girl, how long you been training? You better get to work. She's gotten to work. She's gotten a lot better, so I'm proud of that, and I think that's a testament to what those guys are doing. But proud to be from here. Love this area. Love all the guys I came up with. Still really close to everybody, but I just think we should all come together a little bit better, respect each other a little bit more.
I couldn't agree more, man. That's it, bro.
Yeah.
Thanks for for coming on, man, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you.